Good morning, everybody. This is relationship coach here at Speak Your Truth, and I want to say good morning to you all. I hope you all are doing well. I'm bringing you all this video this morning talking about communication skills and the 4 parts of communication. I know I've talked about communication in the past, but I definitely want to make sure that I, of course, let you all know and remind you all that our communication has 4 parts whenever we're having a conversation with somebody. The 4 parts are: the first one is verbal, the second one is nonverbal, the third one is paraverbal, and the fourth one is listening. So like I said, I definitely want to go over those with you this morning a little bit, just to let you know and remind you, like I said, when we're talking about these 4 parts of communication, they can definitely make or break our relationship. We all know that words hold power, and so does our nonverbals hold power as well within our relationship. So we definitely have to make sure that we're always keeping that in mind whenever we're, of course, like I said, talking to somebody or talking to our partners, trying to hold a conversation, trying to get some information, trying to, of course, get from point A to point B in our conversation. So we definitely have to keep that in mind always, y'all. The first one is the verbal. We all know that, of course, like I said before, our words hold power. Our words can, of course, build somebody up, or our words can, of course, tear somebody down. And we don't want to be in the business of tearing anybody down at all. Like I said, we definitely want to be in the business of course, building somebody else up, including our partner, including our kids, including ourselves and family and friends and that kind of thing as well. We want to be in the business of building with our words, not tearing down. And like I said, our verbal, sometimes we can, of course, say a lot of things when we're upset, when we feel threatened, when we feel defensive and all those kind of things. But we have to keep in mind that our words matter. Our words, of course, matter to the people that we're speaking with, including all the words and the thoughts that you tell yourself. Our verbal messages, of course, are the things that you hear coming out of our mouth. Just like Chris Tucker used to say, do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? That's exactly what the verbal message is. Of course, I guess what the verbal part is, as far as our communication skill, that's number 1. And like I said, the content, the verbal communication is the content of a message and the arrangement of our words. And like I said, these words can be critical, they can be judgmental, they can be blaming, they can be blaming or shaming. And like I said, that's the tearing down of a person. But if your words are if the words that are coming out of your mouth are positive, they're building someone up, they're, of course, affirmations, they're motivational, inspirational, educational, to teach another, like I said, that's definitely building someone up. And like I said, that's definitely where we all want our verbal communication to be. I know at a point the mine was not there. I can tell you that. It's at a point where it's almost there now. I mean, it's getting there, I put it that way. But like I said, just keep in mind with all these kind of parts of communication, it's not going to be a quick process. I have been working on my communications, the words that I say, for years and years and years, actually. So like I said, this is definitely nothing that will change overnight. Yes, there are some things that you take that back. Yes, there are some things that you can change with your verbal communication overnight to start turning towards the positive instead of keeping with the negative words and things like that and tearing down. Like I said, those kind of things can, of course, happen overnight, but the long-term effect that you have, of course, making sure that you're staying on track and making sure that you keep building people up and that kind of thing instead of using the words to tear people down, that does, of course, take a little bit of time. So just keep that in mind, y'all. The next one is the nonverbal. The nonverbals are the messages that we send through our body language, our expressions, our gesture, our posture, and our eye movements. Just keep that in mind. There's all types of nonverbal communication, like me moving my hand or me moving side to side or moving close to the camera so I can listen, that kind of thing. Like I said, our nonverbals include all the things that you do not say. And the nonverbals usually count for at least 55% of our communication. So keep that in mind. The nonverbal is way more than half of our communication. I know we may not see ourselves, how we're talking, how we're looking, what our gestures are, what our expressions are on our face, that kind of thing. But the person that we're speaking to, they can look at us and see that. And of course, they pick up on whether you're actually interested in this conversation, whether you're actually happy about this conversation, whether you actually want to continue on in the conversation, or whether you're getting defensive or you're angry or that kind of thing. Like I said, we definitely have to be mindful about our nonverbal communication, our body movements during communication, when we're talking to somebody, when they're talking to us or telling us how they felt or whatever the case may be. We definitely have to be mindful of that, because like I said, some of our nonverbals can of course be positive, and some of it can be negative, putting off the person, letting them know that we're not involved. You're sitting way back, like you don't care, you're not sitting up to, of course, listen, to be attentive, that kind of thing. That speaks volumes in our communication. So definitely keep that in mind. And again, just in case y'all are just popping on, I'm Tonetta, your relationship coach here at Speak Your Truth. At Speak Your Truth, I help to educate motivate, inspire you to, of course, be who you are and to speak your truth within your relationships. And this morning, we're talking about the 4 parts of communication. I just went over the verbal and I just went over the nonverbal as well. So the next 2 are paraverbal and the listening. So getting on with the paraverbal. The paraverbal is the tone, pacing, and volume of, of our words and of our voice. Of course, if you're talking fast, you're doing all these things, you're showing that you're excited, your pitch is high, that kind of thing, which could be good or bad. It just depends on the situation and what's going on. But like I said, we definitely have to be mindful of how we say what we're saying. Sometimes we can come off. We may not know that we're coming off like we're being disrespectful or like we're being uninterested in the conversation, or we're coming off way too happy and joyful and the situation calls for a sad moment. Like I said, we definitely have to know that whatever we say our words, we have to realize that what we say and how we say it matters. And that's our paraverbal communication. I'll give you some examples here. Let me see if I can find something for you right quick. Let me see. The paraverbal, I know it says it does account for 38% of what's being communicated, perceived, and understood. When you're excited or angry, speech is rapid and higher pitched. So keep that in mind. Like I said, that goes with that pacing and tone and that kind of thing as well. Bored or feeling down, the speech slows down and monotonous quality sets in. So keep that in mind, y'all. So if y'all are talking to somebody or somebody's talking to you and they're using the same monotonous tone, unless that's how they always talk, a few people do. I'm sure a small percentage of the population do have a monotone voice, but for most of us, we have different pitches and our voice go up and down depending on how excited, how sleepy we are, all that kind of stuff. So like I said, definitely keep that in mind. And people can feel and can tell if you're bored with the conversation or you're just like, oh, whatever, trying to hurry up and pass them on and get done with the conversation because you're sick and tired of hearing whatever it is. Like I said, our voice can definitely change in that matter as well. And there's another one, feeling defensive. The speech is abrupt and sharp. So let's keep in mind, I know I mentioned defensiveness in the beginning of this video, but let's keep in mind when you're getting defensive, when you're getting like someone's getting on your nerve and you're getting upset, that kind of thing. You can definitely yes, no, all that kind of stuff. You can definitely hear, like I said, the tone of your voice and the pacing of it and the volume of it as well when you're talking. That is our paraverbal. So keep that in mind. That definitely matters. It's not just the words that are coming out of your mouth, but it's how you saying those words. And that's what the paraverbal is how you saying those words. And then the last one, of course, is listening. I know we always seem to overlook this one. I have no idea why. But, of course, we always know that listening is very important. If you're not listening to whoever, whether it's your partner or anybody else that you're having a conversation with is saying, you're not going to even figure out what's going on. You're not even going to care what's going on or retain the information. In order for you to listen, you have to, of course, listen to all the things that are being said to you with the verbal communication and all the things that are not being said with the gestures and the expressions with the nonverbal communication. And also with the paraverbal, you have to hear what they're saying, how it's coming out, the pace, the tone, the pitch, all those kind of things. That is all included in our listening skills. We definitely, I know I'm one that has to, of course, I'm working on all these. I'm not just telling you all this just so you all can work on these. As a coach, I work on these every single day as well. And like I said, that's why I'm here telling y'all this too. Like I said, it's definitely important in our communication and our conversations that we have, that we understand the listening. A lot of us, and I know I'm guilty of this as well, I'm listening to respond instead of to understand. If you're listening to respond, you will never hear, like I said, what the person is saying to you. All you know is what you're thinking in your mind, what's going on, what you want to say next, all that kind of thing. We have to show some type of empathy towards that person that we're listening to. And we have to show some kind of concern to that person that we're listening to know that we, of course, care about their words, what they're saying, whatever the words that they're saying, whatever situation is going on, those kind of things as well. Like I said, we can't just be listening to respond and just want to hear up and walk away or get this person out of our face. I'm trying to see if I can see anything else. Listening is also an attitude of respect and acceptance and a willingness to be open. To open one's mind to try and see things from the other point of view. Just keep in mind when they always say, take a walk in my shoes and that kind of thing, you have to be willing to do that. And listening definitely requires that. I always say that when you're listening to somebody, make sure that you're asking, not just interrupting their speech at all. No, I'm not saying that, but once they're finished, just make sure that you're asking them, are you saying this and this and that to me? Make sure that you repeat back what you think you may have heard them say, so that you can understand and, of course, relate to what they say and take a walk in their shoes. Like I said, that's definitely important. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I think that's it, y'all. But like I said, I definitely want to make sure that you all knew about these 4 parts of communication and how to put them together. Like I said, they definitely all go along with everything that we talk about, that we want to say in our relationships, and that we understand in our conversations. Like I said, if for some reason you're not understanding what your partner or the person that you're speaking with is saying or telling you in the conversation, you may not be listening well. And I actually do have 5 tips of that you can, of course, improve your listening skills as well. So let me get to those 5 before I get off this video. Number 1, focus on the person speaking. You don't want to be looking all down there, looking like, oh, girl, yeah, I said so and so. You want to be looking directly at that person in their eyes or in their face, whichever one you feel comfortable with doing, just looking at their nose or whatever it is, just to let them know that you're looking them in their face and that you're, of course, listening to what they're saying, and focus on them speaking. Number 2, make sure you understand and ask for clarity. That's what I just said a little while ago. Make sure that you, of course, repeat back. So are you saying this, honey? Are you saying that, honey? I heard you say blah, 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 whatever it was. Make sure that you repeat back so they can say, yes, I said that, or no, that's not what I meant. And if that's not what they meant, then they're going to explain to you exactly what they meant. Number 3, wait for your turn to speak. I just said that as well. Making sure that we're not interrupting anybody. I know I used to be very, very bad at interrupting people while they're talking to me. Sometimes I still do, and I have to catch myself. Like I said, I'm working on these things as well, just same as you are. But I just want to make sure that you know that waiting for your turn to speak is definitely a sign of respect in that relationship. Let me see. Number 4, show interest. Whether you're moving in closer, you're looking like, oh my goodness, what's going on, showing some kind of facial gestures or expressions that you're interested, that you want to be in the conversation, and not just like, okay, whatever. I mean, that kind of thing. You want to make sure that you're showing interest in the conversation that's going on. And the 5th one, and like I just said, repeat back what you heard them say in your own words. I think that's on there twice. Am I looking at that? Okay, yes. The first one was make sure that you understand and ask for clarity. And then the next one was repeat back what you heard them say in your own words. So we definitely have to do that as well. And like I said, that definitely goes for all of our conversations that we're in, especially if you're not understanding what's going on, what the words are. If you're not understanding what's going on in the conversation, or if you're not understanding, you want clarity around what they said to you, how they said it, that kind of thing, and making sure that you understand what they meant with the words that they spoke. And like I said, definitely repeat it back to them, let them know that you understood. Honey, that I heard you say that I hurt your feelings when I didn't say hello to you this morning. And of course, like I said, your partner will let you know if that's the truth or if it's not, and they'll tell you what they actually meant. So just keep that in mind, y'all. Like I said, that's definitely one of 5 of the tips that I can give you to, of course, increase your effective listening skills. And like I said, this video was talking about communication and how communication can make or break our relationship. And like I said, definitely with the communication, it has 4 parts. They are verbal, nonverbal, paraverbal, and our listening skills. Like I said, with those, that definitely will make an awesome conversation, especially if your verbal communication is on point. You're, of course, talking about positive things, building someone up instead of turning them down or being disrespectful. Your nonverbals, of course, if you're listening in, you're, of course, moving in close to hear what they got to say and act like you're interested, that kind of thing. The paraverbal, making sure that your tone, pacing, and volume, of course, fits with the conversation. If they're talking about somebody just died, you're not, oh my God, yes, no, all these kind of things. You want to make sure that you're going in with the flow, and of course making sure that your emotions and your speech and that kind of thing mirrors theirs. So let's keep that in mind. And then with the listening, you don't want to listen to respond, you want to listen to understand. So with that, I want to say thank you all for tuning into this video this morning. Again, I'm Tonetta, your relationship coach at Speak Your Truth, and I want to say thank you all again. And if you all do not know, Speak Your Truth is a relationship coaching business where I help inspire and educate you all to speak your truth and be who you are within your relationship. So with that, I want to say thank you all for tuning in, and I hope that you were able to get something from this video today. If you did learn something, definitely drop it down in the comments. Definitely drop it down in the comments down below so that I can respond and chat with you later on. So take care, y'all. Bye-bye.